Hi there, welcome back. Let's start with one big cleansing breath. Thank you so much for joining me in that. Today, I want to talk to you about my journey with ketamine. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I offering free advice? All of that. So, first of all, I've had a long journey through life. I'm an older lady, and I've had a lot of life experience. I used to be fresh out of college. I was a scientist in a laboratory, and then later on went into the business world and remained in the science field. And then really found myself kind of lost. So I was still struggling with mental health and had been struggling with mental health my entire life. I had tried different things, different medications, different therapies, as well as drugs and alcohol. I tried everything, and nothing aligned with me, and I couldn't quite find the relief I was looking for. So, because of my own personal life, and the way things were working out, I decided, well, maybe I should become a therapist. Maybe if I studied the subject more deeply, I could understand what was going on with me, and then I could maybe help other people. So I decided to go ahead and get a master's degree and get licensed. So I did that, and I was very fortunate to be able to do that completely without working. So I was able to do it rather quickly, including my internship. I was able to just use that compartmentalization that I'm so good at and really just buzz right through my internship. So I was licensed, and I found that the therapies that we're offering, often I've found myself feeling helpless. I could see the pain in other people's eyes. I had experienced the pain in their eyes. I listened to their stories, so many of them aligned with my background, so many of them align with your background. They're tough stories. They're hard to listen to. But that's my job. I listen. I try to validate. I try to give tools. But a lot of the time, that just seems very hollow. And when we meet clients who have been through usually neglect and other kinds of childhood pains, they're usually highly successful people. They have learned how to tune into this pain and learned how to use it to their advantage. They know how to compartmentalize, stay on task, and do a really good job at whatever they're doing. So those people are going to be hard to get insight from just a therapist. Why would they trust me? Why would they think that I know anything? So I sit there and listen, and they leave hollow. And I was so frustrated by this. I was like, I've got to find some tools. So I did. I went and got a bunch of books. I started following a bunch of different modalities and found that those tools, like breathing and, reconfiguring the way we think, and, I think that there's a place for all of that. But when we are in complete and total pain, and also in complete and total control of our minds, because if we're not, we might just snap, it is very hard for a therapist or any tools to get in there. So I thought, I'm going to try ketamine for myself and see what that looks like. I was still experiencing a lot of mental health problems. I had pressured speech, constantly anxious. I didn't even know how to control my anxiety. I would try breathing. I would try all of these things. Often, if I had a full day of clients, I would internalize all of that. And I didn't know how to put the boundary in to prevent myself from doing that. And I had all kinds of little rituals and did all sorts of things, and they would only help for just that moment and temporarily. So I thought, I'm a scientist. I'm going to try this ketamine thing and see what that's all about. So I went ahead and gave it a roll. I have to say, the first company I was with took a very conservative approach. I realize now that conservative approaches with this medicine are not effective for everyone. They certainly weren't effective for me. I also struggled to release myself to the medicine. I always wanted to do it perfectly. So because I wanted to do it so perfectly, I was trying to control the medicine. I was controlling my set and setting in such a way that I wasn't letting the medicine do its work. So, but I believe it was around I want to say my 12th or 13th session. It was my last bit of medicine. And I decided, this time I'm just going to let it rip. I don't care anymore. I'm just going to lay here. I'm not going to try to control it. I'm not going to carefully craft my music. I'm just going to pick one that I've used before. And I'm just going to lie here and just let it rip. And then that's when I had my breakthrough. That is when I realized I was controlling the medicine. In that moment. But that took a lot of sessions. And I worry about the cost of ketamine because of that. I know how many sessions it takes. Now I help shepherd people through this process, and I can tell you it's not 8 sessions. It's more than that. The frequency needs to be at least once a week, but preferably more often than that. Whatever your prescriber has prescribed you. I'm not a doctor. And each of these sessions need to be integrated into your life. You need to do set and setting. You need to have an intention. What is that intention? And that intention needs to be something broader than I want to become a better artist. That intention needs to be something more along the lines of, I'm not going to beat myself up with my inner voice anymore. Something as broad and as outreaching as that is. Something that challenges your psyche. So that's what I have done. And I saw remarkable improvement in myself. The pressured speech, gone. Wow, what a relief. Not even realizing that the pressured speech was anxiety. But even though I read it in the book, it just didn't register in my head because I'm the one doing the behavior. And ketamine helped me look at myself. It literally dissolved some of this ego that I had built up over time to protect myself. And I dissolved the ego and I could see things for what they really were, outside of my anxiety, outside of my depression. And in the actual trip, the experience, I would get little clues as to what were the things that I needed to work on. But it wasn't some sort of grand map or some sort of, pathway. I had to follow the medicine after the experience. I needed to look at new awareness. Where was I gaining new awareness? And when I finally surrendered, the awareness was everywhere. Everywhere. I became very sensitive for quite some time. I started to realize all of the things that I was doing that I was contributing to. Here are these things that I thought were happening to me. But no, I was putting myself in those roles. I needed to take responsibility for the fact that I don't feel good with this social group. I need to take responsibility for that. It's not the group's fault. It's me. I shouldn't show up there. This isn't for me. And that is what ketamine gave me. And that's why I believe in this work. And I do believe that ketamine is a DIY mental health tool. I don't think it's everything. I think that it helps us dissolve that ego enough to where we can actually get to the therapist and have a talk. But I do believe that you can do integration with your friends. And I do believe that you can do integration with AI. If you're very dedicated and you really want to get well, this medicine can help you do that. This is not just a fun experience you do with your friends. If you treat it like that, that's all it will ever be to you. But if you treat it like the true medicine it is, not just does it grow new dendrites in your brain, which is freaking remarkable, but it also gives you that psychedelic, mystic experience that we want to have when we're going through a journey of change. So you can take both of those components, the medical and the spiritual, and you can turn it into your good mental health, into real self-love. So anyway, that was my talk for today. I hope that you're having a wonderful day. Please like and subscribe. This is a brand new channel and I need all the support I can get. This work is highly unusual. And I know this subject matter is very different and not really, it's not very mainstream. But that is one of the reasons why I'm tackling this. I realize that there needs to be more support out there. I read things on Reddit, and a lot of it is misinformation, and I can't answer every person. And so I've put it here. And then there's also the psychedelic community that doesn't believe ketamine is a psychedelic, and it isn't. It's a dissociative. But it does give us a psychedelic experience. So there's a hard space to find for this kind of ketamine work, and I am trying to tackle it. So if you could like and subscribe, you'd really help me in that effort, and I would be very grateful, because this country needs a lot of healing. This world needs a lot of healing. And we need to find more ways to heal people one mind at a time. So thank you for bringing me both your heart and your head today. And I look forward to seeing you again. And let's stay intentional.